Hello, dear students. Welcome to Shri Jayendra Rank Zone classes. I am your mentor and your friend. I will be taking the subject biology, in which I will be taking specially the zoology section. In the previous lecture, we have discussed that what were the basis of classification for animal kingdom. This is the second lecture of Animal Kingdom, in which I will be dealing with the basis of classification and the other main topics. So the very first is that we have already been introduced with the different basis of classification, on which one of the most important is body plans. I'll told you there are different body plans on which the animals are classified. The very first is the cell aggregate plan. The cell aggregate plan. Which is seen in sponges, means phylum Porifera. Then we are having the blind sac body plan. Now children, one very important thing, that why it is known as what? Blind sac body plan? The name itself suggests the meaning. Blind sac body plan means they have only one opening. They have only one opening, mean their digestive system is incomplete. What are the different phylums which fall in this category, blind sac body plan? Coelenterata, Platyhelminthes, Ctenophora. They all belong to blind sac body plan, as they have only one opening which will work as both mouth and anus. Their digestive system is incomplete. Okay. Then we have the tube within tube body plan, which is seen in this tube within tube body plan, which is seen in nematodes, means the roundworms, to chordata, chordates. Okay. So in lower, we can say, when we talk about the invertebrates, we have three types of body plans: cell aggregate plan, blind sac body plan, and the tube within tube body plan. Cell aggregate plan, body is made up of only cells. Blind sac body plan, the body is made up of tissues, and tissues are further developing into organs. The organ level of organization is basically starts from Platyhelminthes. Okay. Before that, coelentrates, ctenophores, and sponges specifically, mainly sponges, they have cell aggregate plan, and the tissue level of organization is seen in the phylum Coelenterata and Ctenophora. From the phylum Platyhelminthes, we actually get to know that they have actually tissue level of the tissue level of organization is going to convert into organ level of organization. Okay. So the tube within tube plan, the digestive system is complete, and they have two openings, two separate openings. Two separate openings. One opening is mouth and the other opening is anus. Okay. In blind sac body plan, they have only one opening, which can be treated as mouth as well as anus. Okay. I hope, is this understood? Okay. Now next is, this is the overall notes I have given for you to remember with the cell aggregate plan, sponges, blind sac body plan, and the tube within tube body plan. Okay. Now, if when we talk about that digestive system is present and if it is completed, right? If it is completed, then it's a very important term, whether the developing embryo is forming mouth first or anus. In case of protostomia, proto means first, prior, and stomia means mouth. So protostomia means in embryological life, the blastopore, it forms mouth and then anus. So here the most importantly you have to remember that in case of protostomia, mouth is followed by anus, formation of anus, right? In case of deuterostomia, anus is followed by mouth. Okay, what are the other difference? In case of protostomes or protostomia, coelom is present, but coelom is which type? Schizocoelom. Okay, it's schizocoelom or schizocoelus. Okay, what is schizocoelom? In which the mesoderm, it gets split into small parts. You can see here the mesoderm is splitting into small parts. Okay, and it is forming the middle layer, or it is forming the coelom, the cavity. Okay, in case of enterocoelom, there is no mesoderm which is actually forming the coelom. It is archentron, also known as gut cavity. Mesoderm is just a lining which is basically all around this gut cavity. So in case of deuterostomes, like us, we belong to the category of deuterostomes, in which the coelom is formed and it is lined by mesoderm. Okay, this is the coelomic cavity. In case of schizocoel, basically the mesoderm gets splitted and it is converted into coelom. So you can see coelom in between. Coelom. Okay. The other most important difference between protostomia and deuterostomia is the type of cleavage. The type of cleavage which basically forms the embryo. Okay, so the moment zygote is formed, protostomes, they have spiral and determinate cleavage. Okay, the rest or the explanation of the type of cleavage will be actually given or concluded in the chapter of reproduction and embryological development. In case of deuterostome, the cleavage is radial and it is indeterminate. Okay, it is indeterminate. So you just have to remember the difference. In case of pro means first, stome means mouth. First mouth formation, then anus formation. Deuterostomia, first anus formation, then mouth formation. All deuterostomes, they have which type of body cavity? Enterocele or enterocoelom. All protostomes, they have which type of body cavity? Schizocoelom, right? And the type of cleavage, in case of protostomes, the type of cleavage is spiral and determinate. And in case of deuterostome, the type of cleavage is radial and indeterminate. What are the examples? Protostome development, basically it is seen in mollusk, annelids and orthopoda. Mollusca, annelida and orthopoda. They all have protostomic development, means they have schizocoelom. And in case of echinoderms, and chordates, they have enterocoelom, means deuterostomia. Although mammals, they actually don't have coelom, they have the gastrointestinal tract, right? In case of vertebrates, the coelom actually is modified a lot into gastrointestinal tract. Okay, so it's better we should not keep the vertebrates under such categories to avoid the confusion, right? Now we will move on the next slide. I hope this slide is very clear. Thank you. Now we will classify the organisms on the basis of body symmetry. Okay, if an organism can be divided along a single plane into two equal halves, two equal halves along one plane only, then it is bilateral symmetrical or bilateral symmetry. If an organism can be divided into multiple planes, for example, this is one plane, this is one plane, the body can be divided into multiple planes into equal halves. So body can be divided into equal halves along multiple planes, right? And if the third category, if they cannot be divided into equal halves, then it is asymmetrical. Asymmetrical or no symmetry. Okay, if they cannot be divided into equal halves, then it is asymmetrical, or means they don't have any symmetry. Like for example, sponges. I am not considering the exceptions. Majorly all the sponges, they belong to the category of asymmetry. They don't have any symmetry. Radially symmetrical, for example, you can see the coelentrates. Okay, for example, echinoderms, they show radial symmetry. Okay, here we have given a coral polyp, that is an example of coelenterata. Okay, which is a radial symmetrical, mean body can be divided into equal halves along multiple planes. And then we have orthopoda. Beetle is an example which is showing a bilateral symmetry. There is an important, if a body is cylindrical, then it almost show bilateral symmetry. If the body is cylindrical, then it almost show bilaterally symmetrical. Like we are also bilateral symmetrical because our body can be divided into equal halves along only one plane, right? So it is bilateral symmetrical. Okay, so we have three types of symmetry here: bilateral symmetry, radial symmetry, and asymmetry. Although the spherical symmetry I haven't considered because it's not important. Now coming to the next slide, coelom and body cavity. It's very important. What is coelom? Coelom is basically a space which is actually meant for the organs to kept in. For example, if we consider the organ system level of organization, the organizations are like this: protoplasmic organization, level of organization. Protoplasmic level is seen in protozoa. Okay, then we have cellular level of organization, which is seen in sponges. Then tissue level of organization, which is seen in coelenterata, ctenophora. Then organ level of organization, it actually starts from platyhelminthes But platyhelminthes means flatworms. They have just initial formation of organs. Organs are not completely formed. So if a question comes from which phylum the organ level of organization starts, then the answer is platyhelminthes. From which phylum the organ level of organization gets modified or matured, then it is afterwards, means after platyhelminthes. Here comes the Aschelminthes or the Nematoda, means roundworms or Annelida. Okay. Organ system level of organization. Multiple organs. Means it starts from actually Annelida. So we can see the Nematoda, it basically shares the organs, but organs are yet to develop finally. Okay. So it was actually Annelida, in which organ system level of organization, in which multiple organs they are present and they are synchronized with their functioning, right? Now coming to different types of coelom and body cavity, there are three main classification or categories. Coelomate means they have coelom, pseudocoelomate they have a false coelom, and acoelomate they don't have any coelom. Okay, so I'll rub this so that you can easily understand. Okay, I hope everything is going inside your gray matter, means brain. Any questions? Yeah, you can ask your questions, no issues. Thank you students. Okay, now we will first discuss about acoelomate or acoelomata, means no coelom. Why coelom is not present? Okay, why nature or our or God being so partial that they haven't provided coelom in platyhelminthes? This is platyhelminthes, means flatworms. So actually I just given the reason that in platyhelminthes the organ level of organization actually just begin. So if organ level of organization is just begin, means the organs are not complete, they are not actually formed. Okay, they have just started to form, right? That is why there is no space to keep organs. Okay, that is why in case of acoelomate you can see the mesoderm is completely packed between ectoderm and endoderm. The mesoderm is completely packed between ectoderm and endoderm. There is no gap or space in between ectoderm and endoderm. So there is no coelom. Okay, so we can learn that mesoderm is filled, is completely filled means obliteration. Obliteration means there is no space, obliteration of space. Right, my students? Okay, now next we are going to talk about the pseudocoelom or the false body cavity. Means they have body cavity but it is false. So why to have body cavities and why to have such body cavity? The reason is when we talk about the roundworms, you can see the planaria, it is acoelomate, organ level of organization just started. In case of roundworms, means nematoda or Nematihelminthes, the organs are now developed to a moderate rate, and that is why they need space to pack the organs, right? They need space to pack the organs, and that is why the ectoderm, means the body covering, and the endoderm, this is the ectoderm, the blue part, ठीक है ना. Then the endoderm, which is making the digestive tract through which the food will go inside. Okay, and we can see there is a space. This is white space, you can see in the figure. This space is pseudocoelom. Okay, and this space is not lined by mesoderm. This space is not lined by mesoderm because mesoderm is actually giving, or it is forming the muscular layer. Okay, it is forming the muscular layer. Why? Because these round worms, they are cylindrical and they have to move. When they move, they contract and they relax so that they can change their shape. So because of this contraction and relaxation, okay, they need muscles, the circular muscles and the longitudinal muscles. Okay, we'll talk afterwards, right? Now, so pseudocoelomate, they have false body cavity. Now when we talk about the coelomate, means starting from annelida. Now they have organs and they need space to pack the organs. So how to provide the space to pack organs? You can see the body covering, ectoderm, then the digestive tract, endoderm, and there is a space. This space is coelom, and this space is externally and internally surrounded by mesoderm. Means this is the space and it is basically lined by the cells of mesoderm on both sides. On both sides, right? Understood? So coelomate, they are the organisms which have true coelom. True coelom means that they have coelom which is lined by both sides mesoderm. Okay, they are lined by on the both sides by mesoderm. In case of pseudocoelomate, they have just body cavity, but it is not lined by mesoderm. Means that body cavity is not specified, right? It is not actually performing some function, some specific function. Okay, now acoelomate, they don't have body cavity. Now see, you can see the sequence. Sponges, cellular grade of organization. Coelentrates, tissue. Ctenophora, tissues. Then platyhelminthes, organ level started. Okay, here the digestive tract you can see. You can see the digestive tract. But in case of sponges, means phylum Porifera, means cellular aggregate, they don't have any digestive tract, right? They don't have any digestive tract because there is no specialization on the tissues. There is no formation of tissues. Okay, so this is very logical bio, which is or logical science which can be applied. If you want to pack the organs, you need to create space, and space cannot be created on an overnight journey. You have to evolve the organisms, and they take millions of years to evolve, right? So I hope you are getting it. Understood? Okay, thank you. Now this is a diagram just to make sure that what is cysocele and what is enterocele. Cysocele is splitting of mesodermal mass. It is formed by splitting of mesodermal mass. You don't have to actually go into deep because it is never asked and never, it is actually, the studying in deep is actually not in our syllabus for NEET. Enterocele or enterocoelom, it is formed by the gut pouches. Gut pouches means which is going to form what? A alimentary canal. It is not yet converted into alimentary canal, but it can be converted into alimentary canal further. So you can see in case of cysocoelom, these are the mesodermal cells, and these mesodermal cells are actually making an arrangement just around the gut. Gut means your digestive tract, right? And now these mesodermal cells, they are converted into what? Coelom. So just right now, the coelom or the coelomate organisms you have studied, especially in case of annelid. So annelids, they belong to cysocoelom. Orthopoda, they belong to cysocoelom. Mollusca, they belong to cytocoelom, right? Okay, because they are formed by the split in mesoderm. Mesodermal cells are breaking down and they are basically making a group or assembly. Okay, now in case of enterocoelom, you can see the separation of pouches from the gut. This is gut. During the developmental process, these are endodermal cells, the blue ones are ectodermal cells, right? And this is the developing embryo which is being shown. Okay, now the early mesodermal cells, these are red ones, the early mesodermal cells, these mesodermals will separate, they will be separated, and this yellow one, which is yellow in color, it makes the gut, and these separation of gut pouches, now they will fuse, and because of their fusion they makes a coelom. So this is why the gut pouches, they are considered to be a forefather, means your grandfather, grandmother of your gastrointestinal tract. Okay, so it is seen in phylum Echinodermata and phylum Chordata. It is enterocele. Okay, is it understood? Okay, now very important. On the basis of germinal layers, the organisms are classified into diploblastic and triploblastic. As the name suggests, diplo means two, or dual means two germ layers, and triplo means three germ layers. So diploblastic, you can see the ectoderm. This is ectoderm. Okay, just a minute, I'll use some other color. Yeah, this is ectoderm, and this one, the blue, they are endoderm. Okay, and between ectoderm and endoderm, we don't have any cellular layer. So between ectoderm and endoderm, it is non-cellular layer. Known as mesohyl or mesohyl or mesenchyme. Especially seen in sponges, means porifera, coelenterata. Okay, now when we talk about the triploblastic condition, the outer ones, they are ectoderm, and the inner ones, they are endoderm, and in between you can see the cellular layer. This is the cellular layer, all cells around. This is the cellular layer. It means ectoderm, endoderm, and in between we have a cellular mesoderm. So when all the three germ layers are present, then it is triploblastic condition. If only two germ layers are present, then it is diploblastic condition. I hope you got it. Okay, so these were the modes of classification based on germinal layers: diploblastic, triploblastic, based on body plan, cell aggregate plan, blind sac body plan, tube within tube plan, on the basis of cavity or coelom, acoelomate, pseudocoelomate, then coelomate. Okay, type of coelom, schizocoelom, enterocoelom. Okay, now another mode of classification is segmentation. Especially it is seen in case of worms. When we talk about annelids, the segments, you can see all the segments are identical, similar segments. I am just coloring it blue. This segment, all are same in size. They are similar in shape, size, and each segment or a group of segments represents a organ, means they are having a specific function. So this type of segmentation is known as what? Metameric segmentation. Metameric segmentation, in which segments are similar, or we can say identical, and associated with some function, and associated with some function, right? Now, on the contrary, when we talk about this is a flat form, okay, like Taeniasolium, okay. So you can see the flat forms, the segments, they are just external, okay. Mean here you can see the rings, these rings are present, which are dividing the body both externally and internally, okay. But here the segments are only from outer side. They are not dividing that body part from internal side. Internal side is continuous. So this is pseudo metamerism. It looks like metamerism, but it is pseudo metamerism, okay. So pseudo means false, right? Pseudo metamerism. So we have segmentation on the basis of segmentation classified as metameric segmentation and pseudo metameric segmentation. Now coming next, tegmetalization or tegmatization. Tegmatization is what? When body is divided into segments, but segments are not identical. Segments are not identical. Means similar, okay, or they can be fused, okay, to represent a particular group or organ. They can be fused to represent a particular group or organ. So that is known as what? Tegmatization, okay. Especially it is, or in case where it is seen in case of Orthopoda, where the segments are fused segments, right? Okay. So we are having metameric segmentation, pseudo metameric segmentation, then tegmatization. Tegmatization means when body segments are dissimilar, they are not identical, and they can be fused to basically make a organ, or they can be fused to represent a organ, okay. Next, on the basis of circulatory system, the organisms are classified into ones which are having open circulatory system and ones which are having closed circulatory system. Closed means the blood will travel in vessels, like we are having dorsal vessels and ventral vessels, okay, dorsal and ventral vessels. Here you can see in the diagram, okay, means we are having the dorsal vessels running here and ventral vessels running here. Basically the dorsal vessels represent the main heart in case of earthworm, okay, or when we talk about the annelidas, okay, and there are multiple small organs, okay, which are the small spaces, okay. So the blood actually travels in these, branches of vessels, and it is supplied to every single organ, okay. This is the closed circulatory system. Even we are having the closed circulatory system, as the blood travels in arteries and veins, okay, and every part of the tissue or organ is supplied by that vessels. Now when we talk about the open circulatory system, there are no vessels. No vessels means the body is actually having small pores, these small pores, and the body is having cavities, okay, okay. These cavities are known as what? Sinus or sinuses, okay. These sinuses are the hollow cavity where the blood is pumped out from the heart. It remains here, and all the body organs, they are actually taking a bath of blood here. Okay, means in case of when we talk about humans or these annelids, the blood is actually distributed according to the requirement of that organ to perform a particular function. Okay, but in case of open circulatory system, there is no such distribution. Okay, so blood travels openly and it moves through the spaces. Okay, the spaces are having pores. From these pores, the blood leak into these areas. Okay, and it diffuses the oxygen through, or we can say through, trachea or spiracles in case of orthopoda. Orthopoda. So orthopoda, they have open circulatory system, and annelids, they have closed circulatory system. Right? The open circulatory system, the blood is pumped into a cavity. That cavity, all the organs are taking bath. Okay, with the help of bucket and mug, they are just taking a bath. Okay, they are just enjoying it. Okay, and closed circulatory system, the organs receive blood according to their requirement and according to their workload. Right? Open type, blood is directly pumped out of the heart, and cells or tissues or organs are directly bathed into it. Example: orthopoda, mollusca, echinoderms, hemichordata, and some lower chordates like tunicates. So you have to remember the example. The open circulatory system is found in orthopoda, mollusca, echinodermata, hemichordata, and some lower chordates like tunicates. Okay. Closed circulatory system, the blood travels into different vessels having different length and diameter, and it is found in Annelida, cephalopod, mollusk. In mollusk, exception, cephalopod mollusk, they have closed circulatory system. Other molluscas, they are having open circulatory system, and vertebrata. Okay. So what are the examples of open? Orthopoda, mollusca, except cephalopod mollusca, echinoderms, hemichordata, and some lower chordates like tunicates. Closed circulatory system, examples: Annelida, cephalopod mollusk, and vertebrata. Okay. Now moving to the next slide. This is the brain map, which actually discuss or covers all the bases of classification. Okay. If you want, you can note it down. Okay. So today we have completed the bases of classification. Now we will start the classification. These were the bases that on these bases we have classified. Now we will study about, this is the kingdom Animalia outline. Okay, the kingdom Animalia outline means the kingdom Animalia is divided into protozoa, which is subkingdom, and metazoa. Protozoa is something very different. Okay, it basically covers only protistans. And subkingdom metazoa, it includes parazoa and eumetazoa. Okay, in parazoa we study about porifera, means they are made up of cells only. In eumetazoa we study about radiata, means radial symmetry. Bilateria means bilateral symmetry. And bilateral symmetrical, they are basically having mouth and anus. If mouth develops first, protostomia. Anus develops first, deuterostomia. Right? And then protostomia, they are further divided into acoelomate, pseudocoelomate, and schizocoelomate. And deuterostomia, they divided into enterocoelomate. So I hope I made myself very clear. All the divisions are previously been explained to you. Even then, if you are having any problem, you can just ask without any hesitation. We will start in the next lecture of phylum Porifera. Till then, bye-bye, take care, good luck, stay safe, stay blessed. Thank you.